All right, hello and welcome. Today we're doing something a little different here because we're actually gonna do post-game commentary here, and it's a little different from what I usually do, which is live. These are just some games that I had recorded, and I was like, well, some pretty standard toxic behavior in these in these games, like you'd see from Dead by Daylight, and I was like, okay, I'll just throw these in here because everybody likes a good game full of toxic behavior, because it's just like, I don't know, it's something of like a morbid curiosity thing, right? When people see people acting like complete degenerates, and you're just like, well, that's just typical of the human state. And yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to talk about rather than actually seeing, it's very typical, seeing a Night Guard just completely miss somebody. But yeah, I thought it'd be like, I think people like to see something very typical out of like human nature. So a little pessimism. I don't know why, but I think people actually kind of enjoy that for some reason. So we're doing that, and big swing for myself there. Crazy. It's embarrassing. Don't look at that part. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, there's nothing in this game. This game is just a typical night game you're gonna see. I think at this point though, there were a lot of I got some pretty not amazing survivors, right? I think is really because I'd been playing Night like all day today, and I just kept losing literally every single game. And well, not literally, but like it was not doing too hot. So there's like, here's some survivors that have played this game for a couple hours. It's like, okay, that's fine, that's great, whatever. And I think this is actually like the 6th time I had been sent to this map. Although this time I don't think they even sent me to this map. It's just like a happenstance thing that they just got us here for some reason. And yeah, that's about it. So really, yeah, we try to play a little mean on this map, right? Because this map is actually like really tough to do well on if you don't like kind of resort to some not scummy tactics, but like some like really kind of mean stuff here. So like we drop chase with Serena because she got balanced landing, and we're just gonna, they kind of give us this opportunity to tunnel the Claire here, so we're gonna do that. It's just kind of like funny, and we miss, but she gets her dead hard there, so I don't know. I think we technically outplayed the dead hard, and she DC'd, right? Yeah, so yeah, that's another thing. Like toxic survivors you're gonna see in this game, they don't play toxically. They're not like toxically. They're not like not teabagging or nothing. They're not like being complete nuisances or nothing or whatever. They're just, it seems like they're playing normal, and it doesn't feel like that they're like angry at anything that I did. But you're gonna see like at the end that it's pretty upset, fairly upset. But yeah, it's really just how this map goes, how a lot of the really tough survivor sided maps go for this game. You have to play incredibly mean in order to win as killer. It depends on the killer you're playing, of course. If you're playing top tier killer or whatever, it doesn't really matter that much. Of course, you can make do with whatever map you get, but I think a lot of the time, that was pretty good. I think a lot of the time the game forces you to play in such a way, just because the maps are so, I'm not saying all the maps are this way, but like this one and Eerie Crisis is a little better, but it's still pretty rough. And like it doesn't feel good, right? Like I don't like to play this way, obviously. And honestly, I think this whole day that I've been getting either sent here or just happened to get this map, like I hadn't really been playing all that mean. Like I just wasn't tunneling, I wasn't camping or nothing, I wasn't really doing anything too crazy. But I was like, after like the 6th time of losing on this map, I was just like, no, we'll play mean, because this is what this map really wants you to do. It's what it feels like. Obviously you could, if you're a better killer than I can, you can probably make it work in your favor if you're playing, not an amazing killer like the Knight is. It's not amazing, but yeah, it's just how it kind of goes. And it really feels like, even if you're like new to this game, right? I'm not saying I'm new, but if you're a new player, you're gonna feel like your best option is to camp people, especially on certain maps like this. You're gonna feel like, oh yeah, well, I should camp, or I should tunnel, I should blah blah blah. And I thought she was gonna go for that unhook, but she didn't. So we just ignore that. And yeah, so she hits second stage there. But yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's like a map design philosophy that I think behavior really needs to work on. Personally, it doesn't feel great to do all these sorts of things that you have to do just in order to win or feel like you win. It doesn't feel good. Personally, it doesn't feel great. I don't like it. And honestly, not every map feels like you have to do this, right? It's even if you just play certain killers. Like, I had it in the game earlier that I was playing Trapper on, and I think it was Temple Purgation, which isn't like a terrible map by any means. But yeah, like I was at like 2 gens with like 1 or 2 hooks to my name. My fiance walked in like, why are you camping this girl? I'm like, or why are you telling this girl? I'm like, I really have no choice. Like, I'm playing probably the worst killer in this game, and I'm not getting anything done, and it's the only way and only shot I have winning. And yeah, it's obviously that's partially a skill issue, of course. Oh, this is funny here. She just kind of like runs into this room. She does this twice actually. You'll see later. But yeah, some killers just don't feel like they're really like up to the challenge to really do well at all on even any map. Sometimes you just you get lucky, right? But yeah, of course, like I'm saying, it's partially a skill issue, and partially it's just like, why would you play one of the weakest killers? Like, what's the appeal for a person to play one of the weakest killers? I mean, you can just play like, or learn to get good at Nurse or Blight or something like that, or Spirit even. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of killers that are going to be like that. I don't know if there's like a guaranteed way to be really good at certain killers that are just like considered pretty bottom tier. But when I see that like Ottstar is like, who is it, like, I don't even know how many hours, like over 15,000 hours in this game, struggles to deal with survivors as Trapper, then it makes me kind of wonder, like, if he's struggling, then how is anyone new to this game, or even myself honestly, supposed to do well without like resorting to some of the scummiest things that you could do as killer? So then you're forced into this position, right? I guess you're not forced, but if you don't want to do terribly, you kind of forced into a position where you have to do kind of scummy killer tactics like camping, tunneling at like however many gens left. And honestly, it feels bad because I don't play games to take enjoyment or fun away from other people. I would like to play games that, provide a challenge and, hopefully some sort of fun out of, or give, people playing the game, a sense of enjoyment. Because if I'm the only one having fun in a multiplayer game, it's not great. It don't feel great. And like, I completely understand that, people would complain if like I'm the only one having fun in this multiplayer game. Oh, here it is. Yeah, she just goes into this corner, like, she kind of resigns herself there. I feel like she should just try to power on through there to the house, but yeah, it's alright. Like I said, I don't think these survivors are particularly experienced. They're not terrible, but they're not like... It feels like they've only gone up against Knight like maybe a couple times. But yeah, anyway, the result though of playing kind of scummy, beyond just survivors not having fun, is that they're gonna be mad. They're gonna be angry. They're going to say things they probably don't mean or regret, or really they'll just get super frustrated, and they'll just redirect that anger onto you. And of course that doesn't feel good at all, right? Because now you're the bad guy in the situation. I mean, you're playing killer, obviously you're technically the bad guy, but it's not just because you're playing killer or the bad guy does not make you, a bad guy. But if, you're being unnecessarily awful or terrible, sure, that makes you a bad guy. But yeah, then it becomes an issue that now everybody is not having fun, because now everyone feels bad. And when everyone feels bad, it's just like, why are we even playing this game? It's a game. At the end of the day, it's just a game. And we're all playing it because we want to have fun. It's not like I log on to Dead by Daylight just to, make other people's lives miserable. I'm not here to like torture other people on an online game. If you find yourself doing that, and you like go online just to make people suffer for your benefit, it's less like maybe you should go play like a single player game. Maybe take a break or something. I don't know what you need to do, but if you're taking it out on other people that clearly don't deserve whatever anger issues that you have, you know, then just don't, you know, find something else to do. I don't really know how she got behind me and dropped this pallet, but yeah, I don't know. I wish I could have like a replay from her perspective, but yeah. And really that kind of brings me to this game here, where I got so frustrated this entire day just because it was like I was getting nonstop just awful maps. I think I got this map at least 4 or 5 times, and then it was this or Eyrie of Crows or Azerov's Resting Place or Suffocation Pit. It's just maps that are just complete like awfulness. And I was just playing Knight, which is, you know, not a very strong killer, especially in a lot of those maps. Unless, of course, you're doing like the 3-gen strat, but you know, I don't like playing that. It's super boring. But regardless, I digress. I just wasn't feeling, you know, super hot on myself. Like I just wanted to like win for once, and you know, it drove me to maybe not play as nicely as I did on this map. I certainly didn't feel like I had a choice, at least in this matter. And unfortunately, these people kind of had to pay for that. And of course, I don't know whether or not they're just kind of toxic by nature or just aggressive. But yeah, I don't think they appreciated it very much. But you know, honestly, I wasn't like making their lives super miserable. At least in my opinion. I mean, sure, I tunneled like maybe once or twice in this game, maybe. But it didn't feel like I was just like trying to, you know, slug the last person and let them bleed out for however long. Like all the like really like awful toxic things you could do as killer. Like I didn't down them all at the same time, let them all bleed out very slowly. I didn't like face camp one and just like keep hitting them while they're on the hook. No, I mean like I played how a killer should play, right? Like yeah, I made all the decisions you should make, like to win a game, and yeah, they didn't appreciate that. I mean, sure, they brought yeah, so they said they had streamers, which I was like, they're streaming this game on Twitch? No, they're actually talking about the Bloody Party streamers. So I'm just like, oh, okay, sure. Usually people call it BPS or they say the whole thing, but I've never heard people just say streamers. Like, oh yeah, streamers, yeah. Those damn Twitch streamers, I tell you. Can't trust any one of them. But yeah, no, they take my misunderstanding of what they're trying to say and try to make me feel bad about it. It's like, I don't know. Like if you bring Bloody Party streamers, you're not entitled to being treated preferentially to like other survivors, honestly. Is it kind of a dick move to like play just the most awful you can if literally everybody brings Bloody Party streamers during like a Blood Rush event? Sure, yeah, I could see that. But like this, like they brought 2 Bloody Party streamers here, and they get really mad here. But I'm like, I don't know, man. It feels like I probably could have done more to make them happier a little bit. But at the same time, like if you spend every game on Dead by Daylight just trying to make survivors happy as killer, then you know you're gonna be in for a bad time. They're gonna take advantage of any like thing you give them, and that's just kind of how this game is. You just kind of have to play for yourself. Of course, don't be mean. If you got some issues today, if you had a hard day or whatever, don't take it out on them, of course. But like, you know, you don't have to necessarily please them at every turn. And yeah, it's just a little sad. So yeah, now we have a survivor game where the killer wasn't necessarily being toxic by any means, but apparently they just kind of changed their tune pretty much at the end, and yeah, all of a sudden they're just toxic. I was like, okay, all right, I don't think we were doing anything like really mean or anything, but hey, that's just how it is. Sometimes you just run into a killer who's just having a bad day, I guess, and they just want to take it out on other people. And yeah, that's kind of the behavior I'm talking about, right? That's like if you're feeling like that, don't take it out on random people on the internet just because they're anonymous. You don't know them. This doesn't give you any right to just kind of lay out all your problems on them. It's not really like something you should be proud of course. Maybe they're not proud of it either, who knows, or maybe they just don't care, or maybe they find an excuse to, justify their actions. But, it's just how it is. I mean, yeah, like, I don't think this, just based on that shot, I kind of, at this point, was feeling like, I don't think this killer plays that much Deathslinger. Or if he does, it's not a big deal. Or he doesn't really, what am I trying to say? Either doesn't play this killer particularly that much, or something's going on. Either way, it's fine. Either way, I'm thinking this game's probably not going to be, like, super challenging for me, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? But yeah, it's not like, we ourselves were doing anything toxic in this game. I don't really know if we did anything. We're just doing like some pretty like standard Survivor gameplay stuff things. Like we're just well, me personally, I like to play Survivor kind of conservatively, right? Like I'll do gens, take chase when and where I can. I'm not gonna go like out of my way to like follow a Survivor being chased to flashlight save and pallet save them or what have you. If they happen to be there and I'm confident I can do it, sure, yeah, I'll do it. But generally, I'll just be on gens and just, yeah, if the killer comes for me or if I see a survivor in a lot of trouble, I'll try to get to them to help them out. It's just like, it's pretty standard, like I don't know. Which makes me think that a lot of the time, a lot of toxic behavior, I think, I personally don't really see it from survivors or killers that are like actually experienced with the game, like have a lot of hours into it. Like it really feels like something that kind of new players do, and yeah, I don't know what to say about that, honestly. I don't know what this game does to people to really bring out that kind of attitude from them. Like, of course, more experienced people like yourself or me or whoever watching this would be like, yeah, no, it's toxic. Don't do that, of course. And it's either something that comes with experience or, I think for the most part, I think maturity. I'm sure a lot of younger people. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I don't even mean that. I'm just being a boomer at this point. I'm just saying, like, oh, the young kids of these game generations, all they do is treat other people with toxicity. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean that. Because when I was a young lad, playing, like, the original Halo, I was like, I wasn't particularly toxic or anything. If I did anything toxic, it was definitely not intentional. That's for sure. Like, I wasn't teabagging people or anything. I just thought it was... At that point, I thought it was stupid. So, I mean, I apologize to my younger viewers if they're out there. I don't think that you're necessarily immature or anything. But I think, I don't know. I can't really place where a lot of toxic behavior comes from. Personally, I want to say it's just a lot of, like, pent-up aggression or just, like, a need to feel seen, I guess, maybe. Like, a lot of people online like to joke that toxic people in video games just never got enough attention as a child from their parents. And... it's funny to say, kind of sad, but there honestly might be some truth to that. I'm not really sure though. Like honestly, there's no real way I could be sure. But honestly, like if you, I have to reiterate this point, like if you feel like you're just not in a good mood to, well, if you're just not in a good mood and you want to go online just to make other people miserable, honestly, I would suggest just playing a single player game or playing against bots or something, because making other people miserable to make yourself feel a little better or something along those lines, I gotta say, like, you gotta figure that out, man. It's not healthy. I'm pretty sure everyone would agree on that one. Like, I recently came upon the discovery of what people are calling rage rooms, where you can pay however much money to go into a room where there's a bunch of objects that you are free to just completely destroy with like a baseball bat or a hammer or something or other. And while I think that's like a novel idea, I don't know if that's like healthy. Honestly, it's like if you feel like you need to break something or put something down just to make yourself feel better, I don't know. I feel like you gotta do something else. I feel like it's too easy to give in to that sort of temptation just to make yourself feel better. Like, I think there's healthier avenues you could go down, and maybe it'll make you feel better for, I don't know, a little while, sure, but at the end of the day, I don't feel, if you have any sort of, if you're not like a complete sociopath, I feel like you're gonna eventually come to regret the actions that you did, or you're gonna like come up with like an unhealthy justification for your actions too. So it's tough, I don't know. I'm by no means a therapist. I'm not saying therapy is always the answer. God, God knows therapy does not work for me. So I had to find my own avenues to, you know, for like a healthy alternative for myself. But, you know, everyone's different, right? Not everything is always gonna, not every solution is gonna be the same for everybody, right? I didn't pull up that sprint burst quick enough for that. Oh well. This was an amazing hit by this guy, by the way, but we had this tree, so, you know, not much you can do about it. Which is kind of why I will always say, I'll always maintain that Deathslinger is not as good as Huntress. Just because if you hit anybody long range, it's so unlikely you actually get the hit. Get the hit or the down. And it just feels bad. But anyway, back on point. Yeah, so we're at 1 gen. This guy tunneling, camping this Ada. Which of course he should, right? Because it's 1 gen. She's literally the only person he's hooked or at all in this game. And of course, you know, since none of us have been hooked at this point, this late in the game, you know, we're gonna do what we can to help her out. So this is why I think maybe he would start acting kind of annoyed, right? It's because he's just trying to play the game that he so far has learned how to play. And it's like tunneling somebody out of the game, which can be effective. But when you start tunneling somebody out at like 5 gens, it's a little hard. It gets a little harder as the game keeps going. But yeah, he's getting annoyed that his strategy isn't really working out for him, I'm sure. And us other meddling survivors are just getting in his gosh darn way. I'm kind of mad about this blast by not ever going off. Like this guy literally comes over to the gen and doesn't kick it. I get kind of mad there. I remember that. But yeah, so the killer starts getting annoyed. And I guess that's what, you know, happens when your strategy just kind of blows up in your face or doesn't work out for you. And you get mad. That's another thing to get mad about. And then, you know, you get more inclined to take it out on people that, you know, either don't deserve it or just literally just playing the game the way that pretty much anyone with some experience would play this game. But yeah, that's just how it is. So he's gonna chase us. Selena's actually gonna finish that gen that she's on. This is kind of an awkward spot here. If the Cheryl takes the window, I go down. If she doesn't, then she goes down. And that's pretty much what happens. Kind of works out for her. And I was thinking maybe I could get a flashlight save for her, but I don't think I could. But the Cheryl here is actually kind of smart. She crawls in front of a locker to kind of make it hard for her, the killer, to pick her up. That is funny. It's just kind of wastes his time a little bit. That buys us enough time to... Well, that buys the Cheryl enough time to recover. And oh, he just leaves. Wonder why. That I don't remember. I completely forgot that he just left her. To this day, I still don't really understand why. Anyway, yeah, so toxic behavior obviously isn't like exclusive to Dead by Daylight. There's toxic behavior in pretty much every multiplayer game, and even single player games if you can get mad at the AI enough. I'm certain that a lot of people playing Elden Ring probably like raging at Millennia, but Melania, whatever her name is, Lady of Mikola, I myself included. But it's like, it's at least in those situations, like no one's being affected except yourself, right? You're not putting anybody down besides yourself, probably. And you know, it's different, right? How much of an asshole you are kind of depends on like who you're putting down. If it's just yourself, then you know, maybe you could work on that, but at least it's not affecting others. At least you're not taking your aggression out on other people. Unless, you know, someone like, you know, comes in after the fact that you've been dying for 50 straight hours and you decided to be all mad at them, then yeah, of course, you need to work on that. They're people that literally either love you or support you in some way, and you're taking out your aggression on them, which is uncalled for. Ever since I was little, I always hated people that do that. Like, it's just not cool. Like, you need if you're mad, don't take it out on the wrong people, you know? One of my pet peeves, you could say. And I don't think it's so. He almost saw me there, I think. I don't think that's like an uncommon sentiment to have either. But personally, I've always found it like kind of like something of like a kind of ugly behavior. So, I mean, what it comes down to is like healthy alternatives to whatever toxic behavior that you yourself may be performing, right? But you know, the other part of that is like recognizing that you're being toxic. Oh yeah, he had safe bets for us for sure. Which is something you also need to consider. And Thalita was such a bro there, just take that hit for me. But yeah, I'm not really gonna get into like recognizing your own toxic behavior. It's just kind of something you just kind of have to kind of work on your own, honestly. You can have people help help you understand or help recognize that you have certain toxic traits or whatever, but yeah, obviously I can't help you with that, unfortunately, I'm sorry. But yeah, if you recognize you have certain toxic traits, then you gotta figure out certain ways to help deal with it. It's certainly something you should reflect on, and I don't know, I think self-reflection is incredibly important to being a better person, but you know, not everyone will agree with that. Not everyone's gonna feel like they need to waste the same amount of time on that as I do. But I mean, personally, I play video games to, you know, let out a little stress and just kind of relax a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. So if I happen to be playing a video game that I like and it's not helping me relax or de-stress, or, you know, it's actually making me angry, then honestly, what I do, I stop playing the game. I'll either just stop playing video games outright and do something else entirely, or I'll put in another game and just see how that goes. And, you know, again, I just keep repeating the process until, you know, I find some activity that helps me kind of cope. And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you happen to have someone you can talk to, I talk to my fiance to, if I'm feeling terrible, like I try to consult her, see what, you know, something I could do to help. And she's, God bless her heart, she's an amazing woman, and she always knows how to make me feel better. But I know not everybody has that for themselves. So, you know, it's okay to figure it out, take time to figure it out. But if you're gonna keep playing a video game, especially Dead by Daylight, to you know, make others miserable to make yourself feel better, and you know, you find it's not even working, then it's not productive, right? And oh yeah, at this point I'm like, I can't get the door without him just downing me, so my best bet is to let Thalita get out, and I will find Hatch. That's basically my reasoning for just kind of running around like a chicken here, in case you were wondering. But anyway, like I said before, we're all different people. We all have different needs and wants and things that make us feel better. So what I do won't necessarily be good for you. And I can only speak for myself as someone who has been diagnosed with a major depressive disorder. But really, you just gotta, not to sound corny here, but like, you gotta chase your bliss, you know? Do what makes you happy, but you know, if it's making other people unhappy as you're doing it, then maybe consider something else. Because, at least for me personally, if I'm making someone else miserable, even though it's making me feel a little better, then, you know, I'm not gonna keep doing that. Like, I'll figure it out, I'll see what I can do to, see what I could do differently to help. Because if I'm having fun and everybody's having fun, I feel much, much better than if I'm the only one having fun. I kind of sound like a broken record at this point, but it's true, you know? Like, I don't know what kind of person you are if you enjoy making other people miserable, and then you get like that some sort of sick adrenaline out of that. I just want to say, this guy went all the way around there just to double back and come around the other way. That's alright. At this point though in the game, I was like, there's no real way I can get around this. And yeah, and he's just doing this weird thing that I think is kind of new for Dead by Daylight as far as like toxic behavior goes. Like, they pretend to like, they go back and forth on your downed survivor, like they're humping you or something. It's just like really, it's like the most like childish Fortnite thing I could think of. Because they can't teabag you, so they do this instead. So like, I don't know what to make of it. This is like when I heard the phrase hot dog water for the first time. You can just say like, you're dog shit. You could just say that. Like, we're all adults here. Or at least you're supposed to be if you're playing this game. One would assume at least. But it's like, you know, it's just they come with these very cute expressions or cute little ways to express that they're not happy. And it's just comes off as funny to me. But I don't know what to say about it. Yeah, like this kind of behavior. So he's gonna let me bleed out till the last second or something, I'm sure. No, he does hook me, actually. He actually does hook me. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, he could just, you know, hook me now in the game, but he wants it to be known that he won super good at this game. Like, he's really good at this game. Like, if we didn't all throw ourselves trying to save Cheryl, or save the Ada, he would have definitely lost this game. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he recognizes that, or he's just being a dick, but yeah, these things happen. This is kind of what I'm talking about, though, right? You don't know what that person's going through, what they're thinking. All I can say for sure is that it's pretty inexcusable.